These three songs were recorded because they kind of fit each other, and Mars to Venus is an up-tempo, happy, positive song.
To satisfy myself with your sweet love will take a billion years. I'll go from Mars to Venus by sunrise to see your dreamy eyes.
Mama Smoking is a song where there's a very mellow feeling and melody going on.
Mama smoking, your body's talking of secret stories full of love and moonshine. We drink Bacardi, a little party.
Sound of Desire is a song which just speaks of very positive emotions and love and ecstasy. So the three songs interlink to each other in a way that it just puts a smile on your face.
Now I stand here alone. My baby's too shy to turn me on. Minds catch fire, souls getting higher. Feels like love, it transpires. We aspire, no denial. Oh, we need.
Basically, the band is a typical standard pop-sounding band with a drums, bass, guitars, electric, acoustic guitars, and saxophone. In fact, the saxophone brings in a little bit of this fresh, funky sound to it all. So it's the way these recordings were made. It was just a standard, very typical classic setting.
Something's gonna happen real soon. It's gotta be it. Minds catch fire, souls get higher. Feels like love, it transpires.
Writing songs is a very broad question. I write songs when I'm on the street. I whistle the melody. When I'm in waiting for a taxi or you know, an elevator, and sometimes I go shopping, and if I'm happy, just some melody just strikes me, it comes to me, I put it down on my mobile phone, and then I come home and I just do a bit of harmonization on the guitar, and very often the song comes out of this. How do the songs differ from the ones I wrote before? Well, I remember I started writing songs when I was maybe in my teenage years, and they were probably a bit more chaotic back then. I was just trying to do and to invest in them every possible musical idea I had, and they were a little bit like a music maze. That's because I was listening to a lot of jazz and a lot of world and ethnic music back then, and with time I just I guess instinctively started to distill the information and the background I had into slightly more organized and simplistic messages. The way the song is being built up from scratch is actually quite funny. I do remember once I used a cassette to sort of record one part harmony, and then the second one after that, and then the second one. There was I didn't have any multi-channel device to do that, at least in home conditions. And nowadays, a few years ago, I used a multi mini recorder by Bose, which was actually very helpful because it was an 8-channel device, and I could do 1, 2, 3 or 4 part vocal harmonies and then hear them in real time. And I liked pushing the buttons. Maybe the device is so big. It became a little bit clumsy and tricky to transfer the files to a computer, so what I do now is I go directly to a musical software like Ableton or another one, and I would lay down tracks as many as I want, and then do a very rough home mix and maybe take it to rehearsal or studio, and then we work it out from there. What we also started, Bert and I, is doing home sessions. Basically, we do this with a MIDI keyboard and a laptop with Pro Tools and a simple mic, and the result is actually quite satisfying because in about 2 hours you can just build up layers and tracks and just having an almost complete song ready. So concerning demos, I think another very unique thing is using your mobile phone. You can't imagine how many things you can do with a mobile phone, and practically I can even record something on my mobile with a guitar and a voice and then send it by email to everybody just by sharing it. So that's very useful. We basically laid down acoustic tracks of each instrument. We recorded drum tracks in High Lake Hill Studio in Brecht, and we recorded the bass there too. We used some double bass tracks for Mama Smoking. We put up a U87 just down on the bridge of the 4 strings. That was a pretty amazing technique used by Nick, our producer. He even attached it by elastics. He attached a condensed microphone just down by the bridge of the contrabass. And then we re-recorded bass tracks at Nick's studio. We basically, except for the drum tracks, we laid down all the other instruments at Nick's recording facility. We did vocals there, we did sax there, we did electric and acoustic guitars there. We recorded, I think, electric guitars were a little bit tricky because we tried out probably 6 or 7 instruments, lots of Yamahas and lots of Evanets and Fender, even a 7-string guitar, to try to get this funky tele sound that we wanted. I remember that was fun. And we were experimenting with acoustic guitars as well. We even used some very old acoustic guitars, not really fancy or expensive or anything. There was very little computers used or artificial sounds in this recording, and we only did a couple of MIDI notes by piano, simply because we didn't have a pianist back then. We did use a guest pianist, jazz Korean pianist named Chu Shin, who helped us a little bit with some melodies on Sound of Desire. But overall, I can say that the sound of these songs is very acoustic, very natural, and very non-artificial. I was waiting to have the right band and the right musicians to record these 3 songs, and you know, meeting Jeff and Senne and Powell and Bert made me feel I have the comfortable environment to record these 3 songs. And in fact, the way that 5 of us blend is quite natural and comfortable, and it feels very much at ease to produce the sound that we want to produce. I'm pretty much looking forward to seeing how this will turn out.
When I was little, I was learning to play. My mom said, baby, that's your favorite game. Now I stand here alone. My baby's too shy to turn me on. Minds catch fire, souls getting higher. Feels like love, it transpires. We aspire, no denial. All we need is the sound of desire. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. My hands are shaking and I'm so worn out. My whole body is a wreck, and I feel I need you so bad. I feel